Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry, it took forever for it to actually load up and say that I was actually live. Hey, what's up, Jason, over here at Niner Faithful Radio? Thank you for being here. For those that decide to join, we are going to do a little bit of the pregame show today. I'm going to be hosting it today. TJ just got off a cruise with his fiance, so hopefully he will be home and safe here shortly. Maybe he'll show up a little bit later because, like I said, he just got off the cruise maybe a couple hours ago. Apparently, there's a good story about a dog on that, so he got bit by it. So hopefully, we hear about all that later. I'm going to go ahead and hit this intro stuff, and we will be right back. Oh, man, this whole thing. There it goes. Be right back. All right. So again, thank you for showing up. This is the Niner Faithful Radio pregame show with Jason instead of TJ today. So obviously today, the San Francisco 49ers, they will be taking on the New Orleans Saints. So right now we are in first place in NFC West at 6-4, and the Saints are coming in at 3-7, third in the NFC South. Right now, they are basically on the fringe for a playoff spot right now. Pretty much any more losses almost guarantees that they're going to be out. So obviously this is going to be a team that is definitely in need of some momentum going into the back half of the season. They are coming off a win against the Rams. Thank you very much for beating the Rams and putting them down a little bit farther in our division. So it's definitely a good thing that we always like to see. With that, like I said, the Rams are also without for the most part. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, a couple of people. So, I mean, it's beating up on a dead horse kind of on a dead horse kind of a thing because they are an injured up team right now with the Rams being. So that's kind of the way they're looking right now. So again, they're a lot like the 49ers in the fact that while they don't they look like they're down, but there is talent on both sides of the ball to be able to actually, win games here and there. They've proven that they can. So we'll go off with first off that they are going to be starting Andy Dalton this year, who is actually their backup. Their actual starting quarterback was going to be Jameis Winston, and he is obviously terrible. Jameis Winston was never a really good quarterback. He just put up a lot of numbers in games that were already over for the most part, and everybody thought he was, going to be good. Jameis Winston was never going to be good. Danny Dalton should be familiar with a lot of people. He plays a lot like Jimmy G in that aspect to where he's not good. He is not an elite quarterback, even though he did look really good at times when he was in Cincinnati, because he did start there years ago, back when him and A.J. Green were on the same team. They actually had a pretty good team for about 5 or 6 years before injuries started piling up on that team, on A.J. Green's, Dalton himself, and a couple of other people. So, again, when I say he's a lot like Jimmy G, is like neither of them will never be, quote-unquote, elite quarterbacks. But what they were quarterbacks who were able to distribute the ball to their playmakers, and then, in turn, those playmakers got made big plays. All that kind of – it's the same stuff that we say about Jimmy G all the time. So there's Andy. And the comparisons between the two right now, Andy Dalton is, according if you go by his QBR, right now he is number 19 in the league at 51.1. He has 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Now, by comparison, you have Jimmy G, who's got Jimmy G's QBR is at a flat 50, and he's got a 15-4 QBR ratio. So, like I said, you could say, people get mad when you say it. I'm comparing them to two because they play a similar style of football. So that's the only comparison I really see. Obviously, Jimmy, even when Andy Dalton was at his best, Jimmy G is definitely a better quarterback than Andy Dalton ever was, excuse me, in his career for the most part. So that's what they have at quarterback. They also have somebody whose name will be coming up quite a few times in Taysom Hill. He is their basically their Debo to an extent. He's their utility weapon. He plays quarterback. He plays tight end. He plays fullback. He's a quarterback coming out of college, so he's a threat, dual threat from any of those positions. And they've used him in some pretty creative ways over the years to get him points here and there, or to get him, involved in the game. Even when Drew Brees was there, they'd bring him in quite often, especially near the goal line. Their rushing attack is actually led by Alvin Kamara, who, by most standards, is having a down year for himself. for the most part. So with Calvin, you still see those flashes of brilliance of him, but he's definitely not what he was 2-3 years ago when he was just lighting up the league left and right. That's just not. He's lost a step. He's got some wear and tear on his body. So again, Alvin Kamara is not going to, or he's just not the player that he was before. They did have Mark Ingram in their backfield, who again, another decent running back, really hard, good running, powerful running back. He's actually out for the game. So right now, speaking of Taysom Hill, again, Alvin Kamara has 540 yards rushing. And that's on like 100 and some carries so far this year. Taysom Hill only has about 55 carries out of the backfield, and he has 396. So again, that tells you the kind of down year that Alvin Kamara is, and the talent that is Taysom Hill when he has the ball in his hand, and for this case, rushing the ball. With receiving, they have Christian Olave, the rookie wide receiver. So far this year, he has 51 receptions, 770 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's a damn good receiver. He's a young receiver. He will definitely get better. Probably in the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to be talking of him in the same manner we probably talk about like Debo's, IU kind of thing. The young receiver just needs to grow. Needs a quarterback desperately, because the quarterback for the future of the Saints is not on their roster right now. It's not Jameis Winston, obviously. It's not Andy Dalton, and it's not going to be Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is not going to be a starting quarterback anywhere in the NFL unless he goes to somewhere terrible to actually start a game. So we have that. And then again, so they have Olave, and then their next 2 top receivers, which is going to be Traquan Swift and Jarvis Landry, combined only have 50 catches and 2 touchdowns between the 2 of them. So again, their passing attack is not the greatest in the world. And then Taysom Hill actually has 2 touchdowns on like 10 catches, I believe is what it was. But we have, I forgot to write it down when I was doing this stuff for him. So again, you're noticing a pattern. Taysom Hill in each one of these levels of them on the offense. Then on the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line is going to be led by Cameron Jordan. Cameron Jordan's an old head. He's just that one good pass rusher off the edge. So far this year, he has 5.5 sacks. They actually get to the quarterback, I think it's percentage-wise better than anybody else in the NFL. They blitz like 19% of the time, but they still have one of the higher, I think the number 7 in sacks in the league right now. So they don't rush that often, or they don't blitz that often. But when they do blitz, they do tend to get to the quarterback very well. So we're going to need lots of good pickup on the offensive line for picking up these blitzes when they do come. Another person on their defensive line that we should know is going to be Contavious Streets. Y'all remember him? Started his career out here with the Niners. He signed with them back in March, end of March, beginning of April. Decent year, nothing outstanding compared to what he did here. He's a role player for the most part. I think he has like 2 sacks. So, it's a normal year for Contavious Streets. Probably would have been roughly the same, maybe a little bit more depending on what happens with the rotation with the injuries to Armstead and Kinlaw. Let's see what Damien has up here. As long as Kyle runs first instead of the pass. That there is that, but if you've looked at this team so far this year, it's been more of an offense. It's been more of a passing attack, and it's worked, which I think it's actually gone flipped to where the pass has set up the run even better. But we are supposed to be a run first team. I've had way too much coffee today, but so right now, we're one of the top passing teams in the league right now. All right, so let's see. The linebackers, they are led by Demario Davis, who this year has 67 sacks or tackles and 5.5 sacks. He is an outstanding linebacker. He's good from side to side. Fred Durst, basically, he's their Fred Durst. He commands that defense. He's a really good linebacker. And again, the back end of their field, or the backside of their defense, is led by Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, who this year has 2 picks, 4 defended balls, and 56 tackles. So he just flies all over the field. They also have Marcus Lattimore playing at the cornerback position, also another very good cornerback. So he's probably going to be covering Ayuk all day. Is pretty much what I see happening. With all of that, like I said, they've got good players at all 3 levels for the most part. They're still giving up 25 points a game, and then their offense is only scoring 18.2 points per game. So obviously, their defense is trying to carry, and they're just not, because their offense is terrible. Think about how the offense was for the 49ers at the beginning of the season, but with a weaker defense. So the defense makes plays, and then the offense can't get anything going for the most part because, like I said, they're just stuck with that. Where did it go? Just one second, because I was trying to make a slide for this earlier, but the inactive list just came out, and obviously Eric Armstead is on that list. Nick Sakel also on that list. Linebacker Curtis Robinson, TDP on that list, and a surprise for me was Tyler Croft. I figured he was going to be playing today, so not the biggest surprise in the world, but at the same time, I thought he would be active for today's game. That just came out a few minutes ago. All right, let me go over here. Oh, wrong button. All right, so for my offensive, what I'm expecting out of the offense today is going to be these three guys. We need to run DMC all day long, and obviously you've got to have Debo in the backfield because the Saints are a terrible running game. The Rams are probably one of the worst running games offenses in the NFL. And last week they were giving up 4.9 yards per carry to the Saints, against the Saints. So if the Rams are doing that and they're a terrible running game, we definitely should be better when it comes to running the ball. I'll get there. Trust me. I will get there for that one, Teresa. Definitely a heavy running game. So the Saints are kind of weird with the running back, especially with the passing of it. They shut down running backs pretty good. They shut down tight ends pretty good, but what they do not shut down is wide receivers for the most part with the passing game. So definitely look forward to a big game from either Ayuk or Debo catching the ball more than the running ball when it comes to Debo. But I definitely want to see a lot more run with this terrible run defense that the Saints have. Maybe use a little bit more of Elijah Mitchell, who's the more of the quote-unquote power back between the two of them. And, just like I said, just run the ball completely down. And then that'll definitely open up those passing lanes for the wide receivers. And then for the defense, I want these three gentlemen. The linebacking core needs to have a good game because of the guy I was talking about a lot on the Saints offense with Taysom Hill. They rely a lot on him for a lot of trickery plays and this and that. So you definitely need you need these three guys to basically spy on him and make the coverage on him. And the same with Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is a very good, versatile back, great out of the backfield with catching and running. So definitely need those three guys to step it up and cover both Kamara out of the backfield and whatever trickery they throw at everybody with Taysom Hill. And as far as the final prediction goes, I have it 35-20 San Francisco 49ers. I see this as going to be a ground and pound type of game like Damien had actually talked about earlier, to where we definitely run the ball a whole lot, setting up those pass plays. Let's see. Do I have anything else? No, that is all that I have for the pregame show, unless anybody in the comments wants to definitely add into it anymore. Give you guys a second for anything. Yeah, I definitely would love to see a lot more of Jordan Mason. He's just kind of disappeared, especially after the CMC trade. We started off the preseason and the beginning of the season like, man, when are we going to see Jordan Mason? And he's just got maybe 5 carries the entire season. How's it going, Dylan? Thanks for showing up, brother. And then we also have Teresa Snyder. Go Niners, definitely. Bang, bang, Niner gang. So I'll put it up again for if you guys want to put up your scores prediction. Once again, I've got the 49ers winning 35-20 on this one. So let's see. Dylan, need to bring that same offense spark they had against the Cardinals. Yeah, they definitely need to bring that the entire rest of the season because that's the kind of offense that's going to win you playoff games and hopefully a Super Bowl at some point. So definitely. For the rest of the day, as far as our shows are going, obviously, you guys don't usually see me this early in the morning. It's usually TJ. So TJ might be showing up a little bit later, depending on how things are going with him getting back into town after his cruise. I will be on right before halftime. I usually start the stream for the halftime show about the 2-minute warning. Let's see. Teresa's got 31-10. I like it. Good defense, holding only 10 points. And then Jamie is back after a week off of doing her show, or not doing the post-game show. And she's come back from work, so she should be on about 9 o'clock or so. And then also with this week, with everything going on, me and TJ are going to first time ever we've ever done a show side by side live together, because I'm actually flying down to San Jose on Friday morning. And then, like I said, it's the first time we're going to be doing everything live together for pregame, halftime show, post-game show, everything live from the stadium. So definitely look forward. I think we have a bunch of giveaways and everything else. I got some stuff I'm going to be giving away that, for just random people who show up in the comments and talk with us for Facebook, Instagram, and just random people that we see out on the streets while we're out and about. So definitely we'll be going over more of that Tuesday during our review show. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Game starts in about an hour. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Bang, bang, Niner game. See you guys at halftime. End the broadcast.